Hi everyone, my name is Reverend Carol Kema, and these are the thoughts of a shaken pastor. Over the last couple of weeks, I've been sharing with you stories of the lives of people that have impacted me, more so in this season. The first story was from the life of my friend Timothy, who taught me to live with an eternal perspective, to live with eternity in mind. The second story was from a person I call the misguided warrior, and what the life of this person taught me is that the only cause worth fighting for is the cause of Jesus Christ. Today I want to share with you my third lesson. I met him when we were still very young. It was in that golden era of youth ministry. All of us were so in love with Jesus. I had gotten saved when I was still in primary school, and though he was a few years ahead of me, both of us were very, very caught up in youth ministry and just reaching young people for Jesus. He did a tremendous job. I remember he had such passion of just going to schools and going to colleges and any gathering where there were young people, and he would share the life of Christ and he would bring people to a saving knowledge of Jesus. He was passionate about the Word of God. But as time went by and as we got more and more involved in ministry, things began to pop up. Questions, lifestyle changes here and there, some form of incongruence. And I began to ask myself, how is it possible to love the Lord so much and yet be so proud? It didn't make sense. For those of us who were around him, we began to see that what he said was not always who he was, that there were two different people that presented. There was a public figure that was much loved and acclaimed, and then there was a private person who was very different. It gave me pause. I began to think about my own life. How was I living? Would the people closest to me give a testimony of who I was when nobody else was watching? Was my life consistent with the thing that I talked most about, with this desire or with this Jesus that I was preaching about? By the time he went to be with the Lord, he left with me very many questions. And I just want to share with you a verse from the book of Hebrews chapter 12 verse 1. Therefore, we also, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, let us lay aside every weight and the sin which so easily ensnares, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us, looking unto Jesus, the author and the finisher of our faith, who for the joy that was set before him endured the cross, despising the shame, and has sat down at the right hand of the throne of God. See, sometimes as ministers, we can get so caught up in doing the work, and we forget that true ministry does not come from what we do, it comes from who we are. And we need to spend time allowing Christ to work in the inside, so that when we stand in front of people, who we are in private and who we are in public is one and the same thing. When my friend bowed out, he was celebrated. He had done a lot, but he left me wondering, had he finished well? Did he make it? Did all his sacrifice really matter if they never made a difference on the inside? The Bible talks about a faith that denies the power therein. And so this led me to my third lesson, that it is not how we begin, it matters how we finish. We need to finish strong. I want to share with you the words of this hymn. Abide with me. Abide with me, fast falls the eventide. The darkness deepens, Lord, with me abide. When other helpers fail and comforts flee, help of the helpless, oh abide with me. Hold thou thy cross before my closing eyes. Shine through the gloom and point me to the skies. Heaven's morning breaks and earth's vain shadows flee. In life, in death, O Lord, abide with me. My challenge to each one of us is simply this. Who you present in public, is it who you really are? It is not really how you begin this walk. It really, really matters how you end it. And my prayer is that each one of us will finish strong in a time where most of us, people of the cloth, have lost our moral standing, when many of us have chosen to go into money and into telling people what their itching ears desire to hear. I pray that God will help me to stand with truth, that I will not be shaken when things are difficult or run away from suffering or from trials, because this world is not home. But that the way I began, the favor I had for the Lord, will be carried through until I stand before Christ on that day. God bless you.